2:44 local time, 50 miles off the coast of Bushehr. A four-ship formation of F-35I Adir stealth fighters is slicing through the night sky at an altitude of 12,000 meters and a velocity of Mach 1.2. The AN/APG-81 phased array radar system is auditing surface variables when, abruptly, a synthetic storm enters the kinetic equation. Tehran has not launched interceptors. Instead, they have deployed volleys of Fajr, 5 rockets to release billions of superfine conductive carbon fibers into the stratosphere. The atmosphere is no longer air. It has been converted into a monumental mirror room, an atmospheric Faraday cage that executes a total scattering of every radar pulse and laser guidance beam. The Israeli flight has officially transitioned into a state of clinical sensor denial. The incursion into the physical blind zone has commenced. As the AN/APG-81 fire control radar officially declares bankruptcy against the carbon mist, the brain of the F-35I Adir, the sensor fusion engine, instantaneously executes a digital lobe shift. It completely isolates the poisoned radio frequency spectrum and redirects every processing cycle to the infrared band. The 6 high-resolution sensors of the AN/AAQ-37 Distributed Aperture System (DAS) surrounding the airframe initiate their peak scanning frequency, stitching together an absolute thermal sky, where every heat-emitting entity is isolated like ink droplets on white paper. From beneath the dense carbon mist, 2 Iranian Air Force MiG-29 suddenly punch upward. The Iranian pilots, desperate due to the loss of electronic coordination, are attempting a visual needle-in-a-haystack intercept. They believe that in this electromagnetic darkness, stealth is irrelevant. They have failed the most basic calculation. The Adir does not need to see with waves. It smells with heat. The DAS has established a hard lock on the 2 brilliant thermal signatures of the adversary's Klimov RD-33 engines from a range of 40 kilometers. Adir-1 maintains a constant flight vector to stabilize its radar cross-section. The Israeli pilot does not need to slew the aircraft's nose toward the target. He simply glances at the enemy through his helmet-mounted display, HMD. An AIM-9X Sidewinder separates from the rail in silence. Utilizing its maximum thrust vectoring capability, the missile executes a sudden 180-degree turn immediately after release. The next-generation infrared seeker tracks the tail heat of the lead MiG like a starved leech. Impact. An orange inferno erupts as the lead MiG is disassembled into tens of thousands of molten scrap fragments before the pilot even realizes he is being hunted. The second MiG, witnessing its wingman's evaporation, enters a state of panic, executing a steep dive and spraying its GH-31 cannon into the void where it suspects the Israeli presence. 30mm rounds stitch lethal tracers through the carbon mist. Adir-1 counters with a maneuver that redlines the airframe. The pilot hauls the stick to his lap, compelling the jet into an instantaneous 9G turn. The entire 15-ton airframe moans under peak shear stress, its stealth coating scorching from high alpha friction. In 0.3 seconds, blood is forced from the pilot's brain, his vision narrowing into a clinical grayout. A Sayad-4 missile from the ground streaks past the fuselage at a distance of merely 10 meters, a minimal geometric error between existence and liquidation. Exploiting the second MiG's loss of energy after its frantic maneuver, Adir-2 closes in from behind. A 15-round burst from the GAU-22 rotary cannon is released. There is no guided ordnance here, only pure ballistic mathematics. The depleted uranium penetrators shred the MiG's left wing, converting it into a blazing mass of scrap metal falling through the obsidian night. 2:46 local time. As the first MiG-29 is disassembled into scrap metal, the tactical script shifts into a state of grid saturation. Iranian ground crews, desperate after losing radar lock, execute a wide area audit. 8 Sayad-4 missiles are launched in rapid succession, a ripple-fire protocol designed to erect a kinetic wall of red streaks through the conductive carbon mist. Inside Adir-2's cockpit, the radar warning receiver, RWR, remains chillingly silent. The adversary is not using a fire control lock. However, the augmented reality HMD suddenly erupts with infrared variables. The Distributed Aperture System, DAS, has isolated 8 thermal spikes climbing at Mach 4. Vampire. 2 o'clock high. Impact probability, 96%. The aircraft's AI issues the verdict in 0.1 seconds. The pilot of Adir-2 has no time for analysis. He hauls the stick back and hard left, forcing the 15-ton interceptor into an instantaneous 9G brake. This is the moment where physics overrides biology. The airframe moans under peak shear stress. The radar-absorbent material, ram coating, begins to scorch due to intense aerodynamic friction with the suspended carbon fibers. The pilot's physiology reaches its structural limit. This is the third 9G excursion in 120 seconds. Cerebral perfusion pressure drops. The clinical gray out returns, narrower and darker. The F-35 is no longer a jet. It is a centrifuge of survival. The lead Sayad missile streaks past the left wing with a displacement of merely 5 meters. The geometric error is so small that the shockwave from its 200-kilogram warhead slams the aircraft 10 meters laterally, triggering a vibration that spiderweb fractures the reinforced cockpit canopy. A death receipt is canceled by raw bioreflex augmented by fly-by-wire compensation algorithms. While the pilot of Adir 2 recovers from cerebral hypoxia, the remaining Iranian MiG-29 attempts a dive from the blind slot above. Adir 1, operating in the quarterback role, immediately leverages the shared data network, streaming the MiG's precise thermal coordinates directly into his wingman's fire control computer. Without needing a visual acquisition, Adir 2's system accepts the remote solution. An AIM-120D clears the internal weapons bay, automatically adjusting its kinetic vector to find the heart of the Iranian MiG amidst the carbon haze. Intercept confirmed. The final Iranian aerial variable is officially deleted from the equation. At an altitude of 12,000 meters, the Israeli Ghost flight reaches the critical decision gate. With the GPS spectrum poisoned and the AN/APG-81 radar struggling against the carbon-saturated void, the mission's survival now hinges on a brutal trade-off, sacrificing stealth for absolute kinetic precision. To nullify the compounding inertial drift of the ring laser gyroscopes, the flight lead authorizes a high-risk proximity strike protocol, the high-speed terminal dive. On the flight lead's command, the 4 F-35 Adirs roll inverted in perfect synchronization. The pilots haul their sticks back, burying the noses of the 15-ton machines into a near-vertical 80-degree descent. In this geometry, gravity ceases to be a physical constraint and becomes the primary propellant. The Mach indicator on the helmet-mounted display, HMD, cycles with violent acceleration. Within 6 agonizing seconds, the airframes scream past Mach 1.2, redlining at Mach 1.8. The Adirs are no longer ghosts. They have transitioned into gravity-driven thunderbolts, plunging toward the heart of the Bushehr complex with terminal intent. The physics of the stratosphere begin to revolt. At 1,800 kilometers per hour, the friction between the Adir's radar-absorbent material, RAM, skin, and the suspended carbon fibers triggers a phenomenon known as electrofrictional ionization. A brilliant, violet-purple shroud of static discharge envelops the leading edges of the wings and the cockpit canopy. To the Iranian observers below, the Israeli jets are no longer invisible. They appear as 4 streaking meteorites, incinerating the carbon mist as they tear a vacuum through the atmosphere. This ionized veil creates a massive thermal and visual signature, effectively declaring the strike to every sensor within 100 miles. Recognizing the incandescent targets, the Iranian ground defense units at Bushehr react with a mechanical reflex. The Samavat 35mm automated anti-aircraft batteries erupt in a synchronized fury. Slave to high-fidelity thermal trackers that lock onto the ionized friction trails, the twin-barrel cannons vomit thousands of fragmentation shells into the descent path. A wall of molten steel and tungsten shards materializes in the dark, designed to shred anything occupying that specific cubic volume of airspace. Inside the cockpits, the master caution lights strobe in a frantic rhythm as the AAA alerts saturate the HUD. The Israeli pilots, crushed into their seats by the mounting G-load, execute the high-frequency wing waggle by vibrating the airframes along their longitudinal axes. The pilots force the Iranian fire control computers into a state of algorithmic exhaustion. The Samavat's lead angle predictors, unable to stabilize a solution on a target whose vector changes every hundredth of a second, suffer a terminal processing cycle bankruptcy. The incandescent tracers scream past the cockpits mere meters away, but the calculus of the kill remains unsolved. Reaching 4,000 meters, the Adir formation punches through the final layer of the gauntlet. The air is thick, the airframes are vibrating at their structural limits, and the release window is open. The inertial audit is complete. The jets have arrived at the exact release coordinates with zero drift error. At the 4-second mark of the scorching descent, with the altitude dropping to 4,000 meters and atmospheric overpressure crushing against the cockpit canopy, the pilot initiates the weapon release sequence. 3 GBU-31 V-4B penetrators, separate from the internal bays, commencing a trajectory through absolute electromagnetic silence. Upon separation, the bomb's silicon brain enters a state known as data solitude. Stripped of GPS, radar guidance, and satellite tethers, the internal ring laser gyroscopes, RLG, cycle to full operational readiness. These sensors do not look at the sky. They measure the microscopic phase shifts of laser beams to calculate acceleration and gravitational variance thousands of times per second. The weapon effectively solves its own coordinate equation without a single byte of external data. The munition now functions like a master blind man who has navigated his own home for 40 years. Tehran can extinguish every light, saturate the air with conductive graphite smoke, and jam every electronic sensor. But the blind INS knows exactly how many steps remain to the reactor's keyhole. It does not see the target. It feels the tilt of the Earth via gravity and the rhythm of its own inertia via acceleration. While Iranian jamming arrays frantically pump spectral trash into the atmosphere, the 2,000-pound auditor ignores the noise. It remains loyal only to Newton's calculus, adjusting its steel control fins with clinical precision to maintain a rock-steady attack vector amidst a gauntlet of anti-aircraft fire. The engagement terminates not with a cinematic mushroom cloud, but with a clinical, structural liquidation. Mach 1.8 kinetic energy is converted into a devastating geological sentence. The munitions strike in a choreographed cadence rather than a simultaneous blast. Bomb 1 slams into the high-strength concrete at supersonic velocity, acting as a kinetic drill to clear the initial barriers. Bomb 2 drives directly into the fractured substrate created by the first impact, weakening the granite core. Bomb 3, fortified with the depleted uranium penetrator, reaches a depth of 60 meters before the hard target smart fuse triggers the terminal sequence. The subterranean detonation creates no fire on the surface. Instead, thousands of bars of overpressure compress the air within the tunnel network, generating a seismic shockwave propagating at 3,000 meters per second. Support pillars are sheared at the structural level. The facility's load-bearing integrity suffers a domino effect collapse. Now, if you want to continue following the strategic strikes of Operation Epic Fury, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next update. Military Calculus. Understand the tech that writes history. Goodbye.